really innocent.
F-R-E-E, fuck nigga free. That mean I ain't gotta worry about no fuck nigga cheat. And I'm S-I-N.
Come on, Mike.
Two brave women come up here and suck a cucumber dick. Mike eats some watermelon pussy.
Welcome back to Good Moms Bad Choices.
I'm Erica.
And I'm Miala.
And it's Wednesday.
Happy hump day, bitches. What's going on?
Happy October.
Happy October. It is your girl's favorite month.
It is Make Your Magic October, and you know we're some magical bitches. So we're going to bring magical bitches on our show.
Period. October, Halloween. It's Erica's birthday. It's my Scorpio wife. It's Halloween, our favorite holiday of all time. We will likely have 3 to 4 Halloween costumes.
Do you know what you're going to be for Halloween yet?
I have like a couple in mind.
What are they?
One is Beset, the Egyptian goddess.
Oh, right. You did tell me this.
And then recently I was looking at pictures and I was thinking that maybe me and Orlando would be Billy Bob Thornton and Angelina Jolie.
The blood knuckle.
The blood
at the VMAs or
yeah.
at the Oscars? What fuck?
The one where they wear the blood.
Okay, she has like the jeans and like the tank top
Yeah,
on and shit.
yeah.
And like she just sucked his dick in the car.
Yeah.
Yep, I remember that.
I was thinking that would be a good one, but it's like my favorite part about Halloween.
I don't think anyone's gonna know who you are.
I know. I would have to really execute it, but I don't know.
I'm gonna have to like have her name on you or something.
Well, she has that tattoo, like the blood. There's a couple of things, but I don't know. That's
You're also black, and she's very white, so that might be confusing.
Yeah, that's a fact. No, you think? You think no one will get it? But I don't know. I that's my favorite part is not knowing and then being invited to a last minute party and then figuring it out, like going through my closet and like it looking good.
Yeah, I have no idea what I'm gonna be. I haven't thought about it at all. I'm like a few days before Halloween planner.
I like that, but I was looking at some old Halloween looks, and one that I think we could rewind as a group if you're down. They were like sexy mummies. Basically, all you need is gauze. And you just like wrap it around sexy and do good makeup.
Okay, I
like that. Okay.
I liked our dead disco one.
The dead disco, that was a really good one.
That was early. That was like early on in our podcast friendship.
Yeah, I think that was like year 2.
Year 2, yeah. How are you?
I'm good.
What?
Good. I was just thinking about us wanting to be us, like our avatar, but then you're like, no one's gonna know who we are.
Oh yeah.
I was like, are we popular enough yet?
Wait, didn't we say we're gonna be like someone dead?
We're gonna be that our avatar dead.
Oh,
but then we're like, who the fuck? I mean, like even now.
I could be a dead housewife.
Oh, that'd be cute.
Just dead housewives.
Okay, that would be cute. And
Yeah.
if you know, you know. But if not, it's just housewives.
With our gloves.
That's a good idea. I like that. You just be anything and make it dead.
Yeah, pretty much. If you anything cute, then kill it.
Make it sexy, then die.
Yeah.
Be sexy the day you die.
Pretty much.
I want to have a Halloween party. Okay.
Your house is got the vibes.
Okay, perfect. I'm gonna get some decorations. But I'm good. I feel good. I don't know. This weather in LA is really strange, but I'm feeling very fall. You see, I'm wearing my plaid skirt, and I'm feeling very cozy, and I'm feeling good.
I'm really excited for our live show that's coming up, you guys. We're having our live show in LA, October 21st. So if you're in the LA area, or if not, just come fly out and see us. We're going to get the Terragram. I'm going to get this name right one day. Terragram Ballroom, October 21st.
It is also going to be Erica's birthday, so we are going to get turned.
I might get drunk and fall off the stage. Just maybe.
Are we going to do a mosh pit?
Maybe. I don't know. Mosh pits hurt me. They look like they look like they hurt.
I have no interest in moshing. That's the white side I didn't get.
Yeah, I don't think I got that either.
We went to a 21 Savage concert, and I was like, oh, they look like they're going to be in the mosh. And Orlando's like, what's that? I was like, you're not young.
Where everyone punches each other in the face for fun.
I don't get it.
I don't get it. That's some white people shit.
That's for sure
white people. That is like legit white people shit, and y'all can have that.
There's a few, that is white people.
But actually, I went to a Travis Scott concert, and he's like a black rock star, and they were moshing. But also, his demographic is white too. So, but there were black people in there getting their ass beat, and I was like, "Whoa, this is crazy." White people are punching black people in the face, and they're okay with it. That's crazy.
You saw a white person.
Yes, they were going crazy down there, and I was like, "This isn't the only circumstance in which a white person can attack a black person, and they want it."
That is above my age range. Don't get it.
So, yeah.
No bitch will be punching me for the sake of music and no dance floors. Can we just dance nicely? What happened to good old dancing safely, safe dancing? No, I'm really excited about our live show. It's been a long time. I'm ordering all my sexy shit online right now. So I'm excited.
And you guys, we are asking you to send in your confessions. So we are getting all of your confessions. Call our hotline. It's anonymous. If you have anything you want to share, whether it's like a nasty little secret you ain't told nobody, a hoary, it could be anything. Whatever it is, it doesn't even have to be sex. I mean, obviously preferred because we're hoes like that. But the number is
818-213-0749.
I'm so happy you remember that every time because I can't.
818-213-0749 is the Good Moms hotline. If you have a confession, call us with your confessions. And this is not the kind like the church. We will forgive you, but more so we'll encourage it. I'm really excited about our guest today.
I know you are, wife, because you have been talking about this woman sitting in this chair for about 3 years. Not kidding.
I'm a light stalker. You know what? I don't do the.
She casually mentioned it to her as she walked in. Like I may have stalked you. I'm like, bitch, you may have is understatement.
I had to say it. I had to tell you because I said it on the show. I literally announced it. I was like, I have a new crush online. It's a couple.
She did. I was like, little do you know you've already been on our show.
Little do you know, I was like, I really went in. I was like, you guys probably know who I'm talking about. I didn't say your name or anything, but I was like, they're witchy. They look like they're doing so much witchy cool shit over there. I was like, he's fine. She's fine. They had a beautiful home birth. I was like, if anybody knows her, let me know. I'm like, obviously, I'm crazy. Now, this is the only time I feel really embarrassed when I do stuff like that. But I'm like also very happy.
Well, I would like to welcome to the show, Miala. I said your name right.
Yes.
I'd like to welcome to the show, Miala.
Hello.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you
Miala
for having me.
is a voodoo priestess, and I have so many questions about what you do because I really don't know shit about it. I did like a little Google search, but I don't trust Google because I was like, what's the difference between hoodoo and voodoo?
You Googled it?
Yeah, bitch. Because I was like, what is the difference?
I'm
then there was a whole TikTok about this woman who was had a turtleneck on, and she was like, hoodoo is
a white lady?
Hoodoo is rooted in herbs, and voodoo is a religion. I was like, okay, well that's a good difference.
It was a white lady?
No, she was black, but she was talking with her white person voice. I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to ask you about that.
Yes.
But first things first, I'm just so curious just about your journey into the space and what you do. Who are you? Where'd you come from? And how did you get into, where were you born? And
oh my God.
How did you get into what you're
I hate
doing?
people ask me where I was born.
Okay, well,
it's
you don't
such a
have to
random place. I was born somewhere, but I wasn't raised there, if that makes sense.
Where were you born?
Oh my gosh. I was born in Iowa.
Oh.
Very random, right?
Huh, yeah.
The
I was
most
not
randomest
expecting
place.
that.
Yes. And then my mom and her husband, they've been together since I was 7, and they moved to North Carolina. Okay. And so I was raised in North Carolina.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. Charlotte, to be exact. So, yeah.
So you stayed in Iowa until you're 7, and you?
No, I moved out of Iowa when I was 11.
Oh, okay, and then you grew the rest in North Carolina.
Yeah, so I did elementary a little bit in Iowa, and then moved to North Carolina, and then went to Miami for spring break.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
How'd you get caught up in Miami?
I was dancing.
Oh,
Were you dancing already in
I did start dancing a little bit in Charlotte. Right after I had my daughter, I had her at 18. And I started dancing. And there was Onyx down there.
There's Onyx in every major city.
And there was also a club called Nikki's. And I was in there. I was very young. Literally, like, had on, like, Target panty and bra, my prom heels. Thought I was the baddest thing walking, and just had all the confidence in the world. Riding the city bus to the club, all the confidence in the world. But I started there very young, and then I met some girls who were like really doing their thing, and they were like talking about going to Miami, and I was like, oh my God, y'all go to Miami? Like, you know, who goes to Miami? Like, I'm thinking, like, you know, I'm so young. I'm like, how do you get to Miami? You know. And they were taking all these cool things. And they were showing me pictures in the club, and I went and never came home, never came back.
You took your daughter with you, or you were?
My daughter stayed with my mom, between my mom and her dad, for about a month until I got a place.
What did your mom say about your career choice and your move?
My mom is amazing. So supportive of everything I do. Like, she's always like, you just like got this inner bad bitch that I wish I had. Like, she was like, oh my God, you never, one time I danced and I couldn't do it after that one time, but you're doing it, you know? But my mom is like, she loves me, you know? And she's a great, like a super sweetheart, Cancer, just always loving. And so she just is like, as long as I'm safe, you know, like she's very supportive of everything that I do. All my ups and downs, all my crazy ideas, all my impulsive things that I want to do. Like, she's very supportive. So when it came to like dancing, she was just like, well, as long as you're safe and, you know, if shit gets weird, you can book a flight and come home. Like, you know, like that's how it was. And she's always been there. Always. So
that's beautiful.
How did you get into dancing? Was it just because like you were like, oh, I'm gonna make some quick money, or you're like, this should make me feel sexy, or
money? Yes. When I had my baby at 18, I went to hair school. I went to Paul Mitchell in Charlotte as well, and I was in a hair show, and the model that I was doing was a dancer, and I'm doing her hair, and she's telling me about how she's a dancer and all these things. She was actually friends with another friend that I knew. That's how she became my model. And so we're like just clicking and bonding over this, talking over this dance. And I'm like, girl, like, she was like, yeah, girl, I'm like, what do you do? I'm like, you have sex for money? Like, what do you do? You know, that's in my head. I'm 19 years old. I'm thinking stripper is like, you're like a prostitute. I didn't know at the time. I didn't have any knowledge of what this was. I'm thinking like women that are sleeping with men for money. I'm like, okay, so how much do you make? She was like, no, girl, you don't have to do that. You know, like I work at the club and you just dance. And like, she's like, I'm making like $500. I'm like 19. I'm like $500. Like, I can use $500. I'm a mom. You know, I'm a young mom. So she was like, just come. And I went. And probably stay longer than her, like, but yeah, and that's how it started. She just kind of told me what she did, and I was just very interested in it because it's just at the time, me and my daughter's dad, my oldest daughter's dad, we were young, trying to make money. You know, he was working like 3 jobs, and I wasn't working at all. I was just in school. And so I was just like, anything to make money. I can work at night too. Like, you know, I'm like, this is a great fucking idea. So I was just like, I went. And probably was one of the best things I ever did. I have no regrets about stripping, especially once it got to Miami.
Because it went up in Miami. Oh my God, it's like the culture.
Ridiculous. Yeah.
Like Atlanta. How long did you dance for?
From 19 to I'm 30 now. I want to say 26. Yeah, it's a little over 10 years.
So you stayed in Miami that entire time.
I stayed in Miami that entire time. I danced in Miami. I danced in Houston. I was able to go to Houston to dance. Different parts of the Carolinas, but I lived in Miami, and I danced at King of Diamonds, and all the other little clubs there when I had to. So yeah.
And then, what was your journey into voodoo? Did you maybe explore something else first, or did you go straight into that?
I kind of went straight into voodoo once I learned of my Haitian ancestry. I went in head first. Like,
how did you learn about your Haitian ancestry?
I mean, in my mom's side of the family.
Got it. Okay.
Once I learned that, I was like, where? Like, oh, I'm gonna learn and dig into this because I was immediately interested just off the strength of like Black people born in America. It is very hard to figure out where we're from. So once we get a little tiny piece, like, it don't matter if it was a piece of Haitian, I was gonna go for it. You know what I mean? Because it's like when you're born in America and you don't know where you're from, your ancestry, and you find something, you find like a puzzle piece, you're like, oh, okay. So once I was able to get that, I was able to build off of that. And it's everything to me, you know.
were you interested in the occult? Like, were you interested in like spirituality or like as a child, or it's just something like you're? Because a lot of people might find out they're Haitian and not be like, let me cook all the Haitian food. You know, they might not admit like
You might not be like, let's go into voodoo.
Right.
Right. No. Like, I would say I've always been spiritual. I consider myself very intelligent. I consider myself like interested in things that probably others are not interested in. Was it voodoo that I thought I would be doing? No, you could have never told me voodoo would be like the place. But just more so just a spiritual person. Yes.
Did you grow up religious at
No,
all?
I didn't grow up religious. I grew up pretty Baptist, but my great grandfather was very spiritual. And you know, that's what, when you talked about hoodoo, that's really what hoodoo is, especially for Black people born in the South, or you know, just living in America, period. I think it's cultural for Black people to have hoodoo, whether we say that word or not. Because my grandfather was a strong Baptist, deacon in church 9 days a week, like but when we got home, he told these spiritual ass stories like about the spirits he would see in his house and all these different things. And then, like, you know, just growing up around certain things, like my grandmother would talk about the spirits that she could smell and things like that. So I think that that's very common around Black people. We have this inner spiritual sense, whether we call it hoodoo or voodoo, it is what it is. But I think that is very like natural to us. Like even like I was with my at my mom's house a couple Thanksgivings ago, and my cousin was there, and her grandmother had passed, and they cremated her, and she was like, yeah, you know, I just sometimes when I'm cleaning the house, I just take her ashes and I just sprinkle them around the house. I'm like, who the fuck told you to do that? Like, why would you do that? Like, y'all think I'm big voodoo? I don't do shit. I don't got nobody's ashes in my house. Like, they all think I'm just like this big voodoo person, and I'm like, y'all doing shit I'm not doing. Y'all got somebody's ashes and you sprinkle them out. She's like, I just be wanting to feel her around. Like my mom had some bones above her door, and I'm like, who the fuck told you? She's like, it's for protection. I'm like, but how do you know that?
Right.
It's because it's in us. It's just an intuitive whisper, an intuitive voice that we have that kind of guides us. You know, I speak about it a lot, like especially with like our slave ancestors. Like I think I talked about this on another podcast too. Like, how did they know to follow these stars, the North Star, these people who couldn't read or write? Because this is something that, you know, whether it's faith, it's some type of spiritual knowing that is like, we got to look at this, you know what I'm saying? So I think it's just in us. So voodoo, I didn't know that that's where I would end up, but always been spiritual.
So hoodoo is like just the baseline general spiritualism that a lot of American Black people inherit without even really knowing.
I believe so.
Knowing what it is.
Without the even if they don't know that word, because there's a lot of people who don't know that word or don't, you know, understand that word. But I think that it is. Hoodoo is something that was born through the South, and Black people, I guess, everywhere. It's not voodoo. It is root work. It is conjure. It is herbs and things like that. It's a lot of kitchen witching, using what you got and making it work. And it was something that the slaves created under the guise of Christianity. So there is a lot of Bible work in hoodoo.
That's what the lady in the turtleneck was saying.
Yes.
Before we started the show, Erica said that she Googled. Did you just say that before we started the show?
I just said it like 5 minutes ago.
Okay.
You have it.
No, I wish.
Yeah, no, she said that it's like goes hand in hand with Christianity. Like it's not, whereas voodoo is an actual
What's the same
religion, where I guess voodoo also has some elements of Christianity. Catholicism.
Yeah,
okay.
so it's just kind of, again, like when we first started, I was talking about Haitian voodoo and African voodoo being so different. A lot of it's geography.
Right.
This is just where they are, and this is where we are. So like in Haitian voodoo, a lot of it is guised and hidden behind Catholicism, because that was the religion that was being pushed on them.
Right.
So over here we had Christianity, and so we're hiding these spiritual practices and these spiritual things that we naturally do under Christianity. So like a lot of hoodoo people will call the book of Psalms the book of spells, because our ancestors was reading that and giving it power, not that it just innately had power on its own. We read it and we gave it power. In my opinion, I believe that book didn't have any power or movement to it until our ancestors started reading it and started making it, you know, making the best out of their situation. And that's really how that shit is born. So
do you remember Jessie?
I was gonna say
Jessie was talking about this on one of our, what was the name of that episode we did with her?
I'm not sure, but our friend Goddess Jessie was just like basically saying when the slaves came over and were given
the Bible,
Christianity, they masked a lot of this, like some of the spirits that were African spirits. They would call, like there were a lot of the saints or whatever the biblical people are. They were covered, like they've been like they're associated with other voodoo saints or like God, so that you know who you're talking about, but you were covering it in what was acceptable. So it's like we have this relationship in Christianity, and we don't really understand that in fact that is like our relationship to our ancestors in Africa, and like that was how it was masked.
Well, that piece I think has been lost.
Well, the
connection was lost.
Well, it's interesting because, like, just like us, like we're Black girls living in the Valley, but we both were very like drawn to not the darkness, but like the spirit world and to like witchery and to like the conjuring of things. And it's like, why is that? And even like when I was a little girl, because I didn't grow up Christian, but I remember thinking like as I got older and I started to understand like diehard Black Christians confused me. And like granted, this was like my grandmother, even though she's like witchy in her own way, but it was so I couldn't understand why a bunch of Black people who were given this to justify like such oppression would then after it's done with continue to study and to praise and to like this white Jesus.
It's frustrating to think about in that way.
It's frustrating, but it's also not, it makes so much more sense that like maybe their relationship with this, like maybe not white Jesus, maybe Black Jesus or whatever, like is so strong still because it was something rooted in something that is our innate and like ancestral belief system.
I agree. That was one of the things that was very hard and triggering for me, especially coming into voodoo. When people like they get information and they're learning and you start to like dissect what you've been taught, you're like, oh my God, like you said, if this is what it is, why are y'all still talking about Christianity? Why are y'all still talking about these things? As I've gotten like deeper into what I do and like who I am now, how I appear, I appreciate the hiding it more. Even if still today people are not able to like separate them, I get it. Because like part of the magic is the trick. Hiding it in plain sight, hiding voodoo in plain sight, hiding hoodoo in plain sight. So, they had to hide a lot of things they were doing. They were poisoning slave masters and doing all kinds of witchery and shit, trying to hide it under Christianity and things like that. So now I get it. I get it now, especially with myself, is the way that I appear. Walking down the street, people do not think I do voodoo. They think I'm just some girl, walking on the street, like, you don't dress this way. You don't look this way.
Like you're supposed to be.
I'm in disguise, bitch. Like you're not supposed to know I just came back from Haiti. You're not supposed to know I just was in Africa and shaved my head completely bald. You're not supposed to know those things. Those are not only part of the magic as far as witchery is concerned, but as far as femininity and our natural inner witch, you're not supposed to know what I can do. Like, you're not supposed to know. I should definitely throw you off. You should definitely look at me and be like, this bitch doesn't know anything. I want you to think that. I want you to think that I don't know any of that. So I relate to that in that sense of like how our ancestors hid it. I get it. Yes, it is frustrating. And even like some parts like in my work and in my journey, like I hit those road bumps and I'm like, oh, Christianity's like, like why is this here? Like I'm trying to go over this road bump and I'm faced with these things. But it's just kind of history, you know what I mean? And you kind of just got to do what you got to do with it. But
what do you mean like road bumps?
Like being in voodoo and seeing the saints on like as like the loa, which is what we call the spirits in voodoo, is the loa. And so like you'll have certain Catholic saints that are in place of these spirits, these Haitian and African spirits. And it's because our ancestors said, well, this is Saint Michael, but it's actually this person, this spirit, you know what I mean? So and so it's a little frustrating to see these white faces when we're talking about Haitian and African voodoo, or have these African spirits. And so, and I have to keep reminding myself that this is here because our ancestors had to hide this shit, not because they believed that that's what it looked like or that's who it is. They had to hide it, and
this is the only way.
We have to give our ancestors some grace. You know what I mean? Like in the time that they were in, it's just like, goddamn, like what could they do? And so the fact that we have the information that you have, because it's very hard to Google voodoo and hoodoo because it's not written in a book. It's no Bible for it. So the fact that we have been able to keep it alive in such a sense only by word of mouth and self-taught, or not self-taught, but taught within the families, is beautiful while trying to hide it, while trying to survive, while trying to stay, get your humanity. You know what I mean? Like all kinds of things. So I'm learning to give myself and my ancestors grace. I was very hard on them. Like, why do y'all, why the fuck we gotta have this? Like even having like the thing like a Bible on your ancestor altar is something that took me a long time to do. But I feel like my great-grandfather, who was very diehard in the church, but was super spiritual, appreciated that when I put it up there. Like, I could feel that our connection way stronger once I put that up there. But it was very hard for me to put up. I was like, why would I put this Bible?
Because it represents something more.
You know what I mean? But I had a reading with a good elder of mine who was just like, you have to meet them where they were, too, to even communicate with them, like, give them some grace. And so it was very helpful for me to do it, honestly.
I think that's a beautiful statement. Like, I think that in evolution, like as time, like, even talking about African voodoo and Haitian voodoo and now like this version, and like you can walk down the street and someone may not think or assume you're a voodoo priestess because you're a bad bitch, But I think that even for as you're learning and as we're learning too, is just like the history of our ancestors is so important, and it is deeply rooted in our history. It's the story that got us here, and it's the relationship evolves in every generation. Every generation, we have to be able to shift and evolve with the medicine, and like the things that were required for our ancestors to survive in that circumstance, required for them to use what they had, and that's the Bible. And as we grow and as we evolve and we are pulled to certain things, even for reasons beyond us that we don't know, even appearing as modern women.
I hate that word.
Modern women.
Yes.
Knowing that, and keeping in mind that we can be healers and that we can be deeply connected to this spirituality without it looking a certain way. And like, even as we, especially you, like as you discuss your relationship with the spirits and as you've like chosen to develop it and it's called you and you've just continued to grow, because I'm a stalker and I've seen you for the last 3 years on my Instagram feed, but not that I know you personally, but just being a Black woman who's also been called and also used my magic in different ways. It probably looks totally different, but like just us giving ourselves the permission to say, okay, like this is an interesting calling and I'm going to honor it. And like, it's just a testament to, intuition and following our intuition and our femininity. Like, our intuition is very like, I think tied to our feminine, just our feminine, like our goddess. And I think a lot of modern people, especially with social fucking, Instagram and shit, people would like to be like, oh, you got to be barefoot and be wearing a head wrap and you got to look like this to have these powers or to do this. But it's like, actually, no. And whoever's listening, if you've been feeling called and you feel like, oh, no, that's not my shit because I grew up like this or like that seems crazy. Like, no, actually, it's innate. And like, I think a part of our jobs and a part of the testing, and when we get niggas that are sideways or just like,
sideways,
you know what I mean? Like trusting.
I just had this
But she said sideways niggas.
Like,
yeah.
we still like, come on, let me fix you.
But it, like that's the sharpening of our tools. It's like
Sharpening of our tools is the word. I'm so glad you said that. Like that just triggers something in me.
Yeah, it's a sharpening of our tools. And so there will be situations and you'll be like, should I listen? Like, yes, bitch. And if you're going to, you're going to get sharper. If you don't, you're going to dull down.
Be dulled as fuck.
This is the sharpening of our intuition tool, which is our most powerful tool, which is our womb tool, and it's like, that is the work. And that's okay. And we have to support each other in it. We have to love each other through it. We have to be gentle with ourselves. I think that's a big thing too, being gentle with ourselves, knowing that there is the duality that lives in us, that we are witches and we also are human bitches.
Unfortunately.
It's
so ghetto. We have to be here.
I know.
That's
so
why
ghetto.
I said, like, y'all, people act like, well, how you going through this? Like, bitch, do you know how
I gotta be in this sack of skin and shit.
But it's also a gift.
I know. I'm kidding, but I'm just like
we get to conjure this way. Like,
but we get to manifest in the way that we want to. Like our spiritual shit. Like you can see what someone's spiritual gifts are and who they are by how they manifest in their physical. It's like, oh, you probably do this.
And we can drink wine.
This is our reality check.
Yes.
This is what keeps us humble. Because if it was just spirit and energy, it would be
It'd be ugly.
It would be a devil's playground.
It would be, people wouldn't want to.
It would be a devil's
This
playground.
is fun.
Especially the people who are judging, like, or judge women or judge situations or whatever. Like if you had to take out that skin suit, the conversation would be different.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it'd be a war. But like, this is so fun and beautiful. We get to like dress up and put on makeup and like
Yes.
drink
Okay,
wine.
I have a question that I have been wanting to ask.
Me?
Scared.
No.
Oh.
Just because it's October and it's witchy and it's Halloween, and I do have questions because, you know, we've done every October, me and Miala, we always have kind of like a witchy theme. And I think like a few Octobers ago, Jamila, she sacrificed some pigeons, right? So I'm
How
just
did you do
wondering.
that?
with my shaman.
I'm curious. I think I want to like. I'm interested in the magic of voodoo because there's also this perception as well, right? Like, so what are the practices? What are the, and I know there's things you cannot share because that's just the practice. And then there's things that like using nature to cast spells, to create energy, to create magic essentially is something that I think is in the voodoo practice, not just with the herbs, but with the elements and, you know, we are the elements in ways.
Yeah.
So can you give us like some insight on what that is? And like, you know, Miala, I don't know if you want to reshare your story, but I don't know
like the animal sacrifice.
'cause
What that is?
What kind of
Jake is a voodoo priest.
Is Jake white?
No.
Oh, I know a white Jake.
No, he's a black
priest too.
No, he's a black Jake. But I know there's African priests
He's
that
a
are white.
fine ass.
He is fine as fuck,
He's
actually.
a beautiful fine ass Jake.
He actually met Cousin Chris, and then Cousin Chris introduced me to him, and I was going through some heavy shit. And like again, like I've always been called
Wine. Every time I point, that's what I want.
Okay, sorry. That you wanted me. Like 5 years ago, I was going through some shit. I've always been really like, I'm open. Like I know that like there's so much deeper I can go into spirituality just being of African descent, and I'm very intrigued by that. I always have been. And like even since we started our podcast, like we started to become super, as we joined forces, we started to see like how powerful we were together and this entity that was created, and we started to pull and manifest like easier, and it started to like, it just made me even more intrigued in playing, you know, and playing in all of the elements. So at the time I was going through something, and my cousin Chris, shout out to Cousin Chris, who's actually also from Louisiana, and also deeply spiritual, and that's like where we bond. We could say all types of shit, you know, to each other. So he's like, child, I've been made a priest, and he about to do a spell. You want to come? I'm like, what kind of spell? Well, child, he done told me all I need to do is get a candle, one white pigeon, one black pigeon. I said, well, where are we gonna get the pigeons from? He's like, he told me the place.
Wow.
So one Friday afternoon in LA, so you can imagine the fucking traffic, me and Cousin Chris goes by and get us each one
I'm
white,
about to do some voodoo.
one white and one black
Y'all think I'm
pigeon
about to do some voodoo.
from the livestock place in Van Nuys, and drive our asses over the 405 to Jake's house
with the pigeon.
with the pigeons. They in the back seat, squawk, squawk. We listen to fucking Gucci Man.
Turn that shit up.
Manifesting.
Here go Cousin Chris. They must know they about to.
They about to go.
Not
Right. Wow.
We're fucking blasting Gucci Man on the way to sacrifice 4 pigeons for different reasons, but I was with the shits, and we went, and like me, Jake was on the show, and Jake and I are still friends to this day, and he goes through a lot of initiations, like he does a lot of work. We got there, the altars were set up, he explained some shit to us, there was a lot of work that was done, there's cigars that were smoked, liquor that was spit. It was a long time ago now. I might have to listen to the episode again. You might need to listen to, we might need to re-release it as a bonus episode, just so you guys remember that, you know, don't call PETA, but I mean, Jesus was sacrificed apparently, so you know, there's.
That's what I was about to say. Like a lot of the stigma and the conversations around animal sacrifice and voodoo are very ignorant. Because it's like you'll have Christians like, oh, they're sacrificing animals and blood. It's just like y'all the same people who
sacrifice
eat the body
Jesus.
of Jesus and drinking his blood every
Y'all
communion.
sacrifice us every day.
Yeah,
with
every
with
day.
the guns that you
She
let
said every day.
Literally, like.
Yeah. But you know that Christians they ritually go to church and on communion and eat the body and drink his blood. It's like that sounds real vampire-ish.
Real ritualistic, witchy to me.
You know,
Not
or
vampire.
you know, or there's like talk about magic. It's just like Jesus walked on water and talked to a burning bush or whoever did. It's just like that wasn't scary to y'all. But the thing is, you know, it's like in the beginning of the Bible in Genesis when they talk about God being a jealous God. So I think that Christians are just like,
wait, they say that?
God is a jealous God,
obviously
not to like idolize any other gods and
They
things like that.
literally describe God as a jealous God.
The word jealous God. It's like a scripture.
They
I'll look it up. Like,
they should never tell nobody that, because that's not the type of God I'm trying to fuck with. I
know?
don't want a
And
jealous
I
boyfriend.
think that a lot of Christians, because they're programmed to like, if it doesn't look this way in Christianity and God and Jesus and all these things, then it's not of God, because God said he's a jealous God. So we're not gonna, it's automatically cast to the devil. It's automatically this. And it's just like, that should only exist over there. Like, the devil does not exist in voodoo. Like, it doesn't exist. There's not an entity.
We don't know him.
There's not an entity. There's not a spirit that we call. We'll be like, well, we got to watch out for that when we're doing this. It doesn't exist that way. It's, you know what I mean? So voodoo is culture. It's beautiful. It's dance. It's music. It's food. It's beautiful. And when I first got to go to Haiti and see it, I was like, oh my God, every black person needs to see this. Everybody in America, every black person in America has to see this, because goddamn. It was the same way. I went to a doula course in Atlanta in 2018, and she was a white woman, but she had this beautiful home birth. And I had never seen nothing like that before. I had never seen a woman give birth at home so strong and flawless and like in her power. It's like, it didn't matter that she was white. What stood out to me was just like, this woman is like, got it. Like, how did you do this? Like, and my first instinct was like, oh my God, black women have to see this. Black women have to see that they can have babies at home. Oh my God, because we're dying in the fucking hospital. Like, they have to see this. And so that's why it was very important for me to document my birth when I did it, because I knew if I ever had a baby, again, I'm doing it at home. And I planned it, and my birth was flawless. It was beautiful. Like, that was real. That was real. Like, that was,
I could tell, yeah.
Beautiful, flawless. Even him, he showed up in ways that was like, okay, nigga. You know what I mean? Like, he was great in my birth. The whole situation, I feel like I literally breathed my baby out. You know what I mean? And I wanted black women to see that. Like, this is a thing that we can do, like, in our power, not just as black women, but just as women, like, in our nature, And so all that stigma around animal sacrifice is very ignorant. Yeah. These are the same people that eat meat. Like, it's like, you eat meat. If you eat chicken,
just for the fuck of it, because you want a 9-piece this week. Not,
you know what I mean?
Not because you need it. Not because you're like lacking.
But, and if you had to do the dirty work of sacrificing your own chicken,
would you do it?
You wouldn't do it. If you had to deal with the blood and the funk and the guts and how they smell and how they look and it fighting for its life, would you
eat it?
How would you survive if that's how you had to eat? You know what I mean? And so, not to say that the sacrificing an animal, it has to do with just the food aspect, because there is an aspect to eating afterwards. But when an animal is sacrificed in voodoo, it is bathed and blessed in such a beautiful ritual way. They're not just grabbed off the street like what? They are like bathed in a spiritual bath, all types of things, colognes. They are offered to God,
they're an offering.
Whoever you want to call it, God, spirit. They're offered in the most purest way. You know what I mean? Like, here, please take this.
And that's what happened. Like, he did bathe them in colognes and waters.
Yes.
He bathed us in the blood, and it was like hot. Like, life force energy was like, you could feel the
And that's
heat.
honestly and that's what it is. When an animal is sacrificed, we are borrowing energy. That's what that is. Because if not, we would use our own. We would use our own. We would sacrifice ourselves like Jesus did. You know what I mean? Or whatever they say he did. We would sacrifice ourselves, but we're not. We're borrowing something else's life force, breath, and blood to offer in exchange for good. You know what I mean? And that's really, truly what it is. This is why you hear stories about, like, in Hollywood with them sacrificing children. That's a bigger sacrifice. I don't know nothing about it, but I know. but the stories of them
sacrifice.
You hear about these sacrifices, like these elite people
yeah.
sacrificing children. But it's just like, why wouldn't they sacrifice animals? Because to them, that's
even more pure,
pure and
a bigger,
innocent.
it's a bigger
sacrifice. Like, I was looking up that story, so that shit is crazy.
No, that shit is crazy.
That's not what
me
we
and
do.
cousin,
But I'm just saying.
I'm like, wait, do I need to Google this shit?
You never did that?
No.
Oh, me and cousin Chris be going down the loop.
A rabbit hole,
baby.
Like the whole Pizzagate and all that stuff.
It gets very dark.
Pizzagate.
What the fuck is Pizzagate?
A very dark scandal, but there's some darkness. And
I believe that they are sacrificing children. I do.
There's a lot of children missing that are never found again. I mean, it's a fact. The sex trafficking.
I mean, yes.
The black market. There's dark.
I'm not gonna put no shit past nobody.
I'm almost 3,000% sure. And I'm a pretty conspiracy theorist bitch. However bad I think it is, it's probably much worse.
Mm-hmm.
And people who are under the guise that like humanity cares about each other, this government cares about each other, you're sadly confused because they're killing us in front of our eyes without care. They're giving our children fucked up
Nobody
food.
had nothing to say on the story. Was it the story of Moses when the man was killing all those baby boys and Moses was saved down the river and his mommy put him in the river?
Right.
Nobody said nothing about the nigga in the Bible who killed all them kids. Because he didn't, because they were, I think they were killing boys. I can't remember.
Or just girls. Keeping boys?
Keeping all the girls and killing boys. And so his mother put him in a basket so he wouldn't be killed.
Right.
But they was killing
babies.
Kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
China too.
Babies. You know what I mean? And so I like people pick and choose what they want to be bothered by and triggered by. Like people read that story in the Bible and feel like that's a wholesome story. Like, wow, yeah, Jesus, Moses, yeah. But you know what I mean? But see, someone in Haiti sacrificing whatever for protection over their family and an animal, and
that they're gonna probably eat
everybody's
later.
Stressed out and it's demonic and it's evil. But why wasn't why is that story not talked? They were sacrificing kids.
But how about they're sacrificing you just for the mere money that they can't even die with?
Well, it's just another added layer to the propaganda of Black people are savages, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's that whole idea that we're savages, that we are murderers, that we are
dirty jungle monkey,
people, like that. Yeah, like that we have all these dirty practices
There's
and traditions.
No one
and we
dirtier than the white man.
Listen,
there's no one in history dirtier than the white man.
Yeah,
there's no one in history who has more blood on their hands than the fucking Anglo-Saxon white man. It's a fact.
Exactly.
If it makes you uncomfortable, look up history.
Right.
Worldwide, baby.
I always said that, like, white people walk around scared of us. It's like, nigga, what?
I'm scared of you,
We're scared of y'all. We do not have a history of killing white people. Like,
we should, though.
We do not have a history of Black people nowhere on earth have a history of just killing white people, taking white people against their will and doing anything to them.
But if we did,
they walk around in fear of us.
And if we did, we'd be justified in it.
You know what I mean? And that's what like if Black people woke up and really did what y'all did, we would be a different conversation. It's just like, how dare y'all have the audacity?
We would never.
That's not
our
nature.
In fear.
That's not in our nature because we are of nature.
Because we are of this planet.
Yeah.
We are of earth. We are of nature. We are of spirituality. So even when we do have those feelings of hate, we don't exhibit that hate in the ways that they exhibit this hate that came from no fucking where. Right. But.
Yeah, and it will make a lot of people uncomfortable. But even that hate has to be transmuted, because sometimes I'm like,
you have to transmute it.
Because white people have, like, that makes me angry. Yeah. And then, of course, I'm a Black woman. But, like, that I realize even has to be transmuted, because that, just like in any other situation, like, you can't let darkness make you dark. Mm-hmm. You know?
And like, you see how you said, like, it makes you angry. Like, and we're gaslighted into making it feel like we shouldn't be angry.
You're okay. It's so long ago. Chill out.
Yeah.
It wasn't you.
It wasn't you.
I didn't do it. It wasn't my uncle and me.
Yeah. Well, I love my kids are Black. You know, you get weird shit like that.
My best friend is Black.
I have 14 Black cousins.
Yeah. You know, you're gaslighted into thinking that it's not that big of a deal or it was so long ago. But it's like, again, especially as women are concerned, womb to womb, it's something that it doesn't go away. You feel the pain of your great grandmothers.
You
and
feel your children being taken
who
care
were
of,
there and
away
went through
from
things
you.
and trauma and rape and all kinds of things
like dark shit.
Yeah,
having your kids be taken from you. Can you fucking imagine? Mm-hmm. And you can't kill? You
can't.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a lot of pain. That's a lot of anger. Mm-hmm. You know, and I'm so grateful. Like, honestly, I'm grateful to be amongst other women who are transmuting that and celebrating our existence, just rebellious acts of pleasure, you know, and like that's what we're here for, to be like bad bitches and to smoke weed and drink wine and live our soft life.
Smoke weed and drink wine.
So smoke weed and drink wine and be powerful goddesses, bitches. Yeah. You know what I mean? But like that shit is important. It's very important, because we've gone through a lot of shit. Our people, our babies, like, it is a fact, and that's why, like, I really want to live it up this life. You gotta run it up so we can get the yacht.
And like, I just feel like women, like, I just connecting to the earth. Like, I think that in my time here, if I'm gonna do anything, I want to learn how to really connect to all of, like, my elements so that I can channel and receive the information, because I know that it's there, it's all around us, that we can all receive it if we are just really taking the time to build the practices, whether that is voodoo, whether that is whatever the fuck it is for you.
Whether it's not no title on it.
Yeah.
You know, what I tell black women in my classes too, like as black women, you have access to it all. You have access to it all. You literally just have to ask the right questions. You literally have to dig. You do have to dig. You have to do some research, but you have access. Every woman does not have access. Every woman, every man does not have access. Black women, we have access. You know, we can enter those doors if we want to.
If you had 5 basic things that you can, like, if someone was like, I want to build an altar, what are 5 basic altar building basics that you can give, like tools?
So if you're going to build, let's say specifically an ancestor altar, because I start with that in my courses. You cannot do nothing without them first. I would always have a white sheet, pictures and items of your ancestors. If you have pictures, if you have
maybe some of this conversation needs to be on Patreon, but
I've already decided.
Well, bring me back for that one.
Yeah, but
have another conversation.
Hey, we can do need to do an after dark, because the bitches could get very deep.
Yes.
Well, Miala, can you tell our people where they can find you? I'm so happy. Well, first of all, thank you so much for coming on our show.
Thank you.
This has been so good and so great, and
Thank
such a
you.
great episode. I appreciate you.
Yes. I'm only on Instagram, _ Miala Doche. So _ MIALADOCHE. That is my first name and my middle name, my birth name.
Love it.
So, yes.
So make sure you check out her Instagram. We'll link everything in this episode description. If you're not following us on YouTube, go ahead and go to YouTube right now and subscribe. If you have not yet left a review, what the fuck have you been doing all this time?
Getting all this free game,
like,
and
we've
not
been doing this
just
shit
giving
for
us
5 years. You've been listening this long and you still haven't left a review. Can you please? That's the least you could do. Please. Thank you. And if you're in LA on October 21st, make sure you come out to our Confessions of a Good Mom tour.
Yeah, you gotta come.
It's our first date. It's October 21st. It's 4 days before my birthday.
Yes.
And bitches are gonna be acting crazy.
Yes.
Ratchet.
So click the link in this episode description to get tickets to our show. I think we have a few spots left at the Good Vibe Retreat. We're going to Costa Rica in July. So we have 2 dates to choose from. Come out, come chill, come relax, come tap into the elements, the natures, our practices, the practices that we're sharing with that other people are coming in to share. I'm just really excited because Costa Rica is like, it's home.
It's calling me.
It's home. Anyway, I love you guys. I love you.
I love you.
And bye.
Bye.
Suspirió en la noche, solo puedo recordar la luz de la